Part 273. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu. Chapter 2721. As a member of the army of gambling dogs, Bipiao's eyeballs are all flying up. Wipe. I didn't expect that there would be a day of conscience discovery in this Colosseum scroll. Stable, this wave is basically stable. Hey. Get ready to deposit funds. Directly deposit all positions. And what did they say just now? It's actually the Evaluation Bureau. Even if I bet on Fang Fan, the odds are 1 to 2. It's taking off. Oh shit. It would be even better if the betting restrictions could be relaxed. Bipiao babbled, and then complained from the side. New regulations in the Colosseum. In order to repay all customers for their continuous support, today's betting is unlimited. How many? How many votes? No limit. Evaluation betting for 1 to 2. It's all about luck. Everyone come and bet. At this time, the staff of the Colosseum suddenly yelled. Bipiao's breathing became imperceptibly rapid. There really are such good things in this world. This is the rhythm to completely take off. This wave is really flying. Bipiao swallowed a mouthful of saliva, rolled his eyeballs, thinking to himself, then clenched his hands tightly, and gradually became smug. So excited. The sense of impatience then broke out silently. Unlimited betting amount. A rookie like me can place bets casually. Color. Colorful. At that time, I will take out the 1 trillion yuan in my hand to bet, and directly earn 1 trillion yuan in blood, which will become 2 trillion yuan. It's taking off. Bipiao let out a breath, and while talking, immediately nodded and bowed. The general low-level mid-level holy masters only have tens of billions of low-level star cores in their hands, which is fine. Even if it is the kind of supreme saint or demigod powerhouse, it will definitely not be so easy to take out trillions of low-grade star cores. But Bipiao has gradually accumulated trillions of low-grade star cores in his hands through many means, worth 10,000 high-grade star cores. Generally speaking, it is actually not easy. This is also a comprehensive breakthrough. In the process of breaking through, enjoy a wave of new take-off treatment. A wave of feeling is in place, and the whole person becomes smug. This wave. Extremely comfortable. Take it easy. This is not right. Don't bet randomly. The Colosseum is not that stupid. Really think the wool of the Colosseum is so easy to squeeze? I tell you, it's impossible. Think about it in your heart. Uncle G squinted his eyes, lost in deep thought. This is so weird. How could the Colosseum be so good all of a sudden? That's it? At this time, the Colosseum sent up a brand new beast fighter. This beast fighter was covered in a black robe all over his body, looking very strange. With a glance at the past, it is possible to clearly detect its cultivation level. 5-star peak sanctuary realm. According to the mighty combat power that Fang Fan showed before, the existence of a 5-star peak sanctuary would naturally not be Fang Fan's opponent. Not only is it not an opponent, but it is much worse. It's just that Taishaji always felt that something was wrong. It's as if a huge conspiracy is slowly seeping through. It is obvious that Fang Fan's winning rate is greater. Coupled with Fang Fan's previous popularity accumulation, most of those gamblers will definitely choose to bet on Fang Fan. At this time, success or failure is completely a matter of heaven and earth. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu. Chapter 2722. Anyone who bet on Fang must win more than 90%. And the odds of winning and losing are 1 to 2. If this is paid to the end, even with the financial resources of the Colosseum, it may be difficult, right? Plus this wave of betting doesn't even have a limit on bets. In this case, a wave directly followed and took off. Explosive start. Take off in full swing. Invisibly, it gives people a sense of oppression in the heart. The sense of embarrassment and uneasiness could not help but increase. The rest of the feelings have also become extremely urgent invisibly. Has a problem. I suspect this is the so-called conspiracy set up by the Colosseum. Now we are in the stage of lure, let you cast all the star cores on Fang Fan, and then defeat Fang Fan on the arena. In this way, those of you who bet on Fang Fan to win will naturally be completely wiped out. If it really comes to that time, you should know exactly what it will look like. Call. Uncle G let out a foul breath, and then licked his lips. The more he thought about it, the more wrong it became, and the more he thought about it, the more tricky it was. Master, what do you mean, Fang Fan will be defeated by that black-robed beast fighter in the 24th fight? Do you think it's possible? Although the strength of that black-robed beast fighter is not bad, he is only a 5-star peak sanctuary. Don't you know Fang Fan's combat power? He even killed the first level 6-star sanctuary of the academy. Pass. Isn't it still easy to fight against a 5-star peak sanctuary realm beast fighter at this moment? Master, you are worrying unnecessarily. I suspect that the Colosseum took into account that there would be a scheming person like you, and then specially countered the routine. Right. It must be so. This kind of round is so easy to shoot. Just throw Fang Fan without thinking. How can there be so many and nothing? Bai Piao waved his big hand, while talking, then followed with his head held high and his chest held high. Needless to say anything else for the time being, the arrogant look on his face became more and more at this time. Good guy, this wave is really confident. With a confident look, he just wants to flow to the end. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes secretly, thinking to himself, the smile on his face became more invisible. This looks very interesting. You are still too young. Betting or not, I don't pay attention now. The key is whether Fang Fan will be in any danger. If the Colosseum really dares to attack my apprentice, my great Uncle G will make a big fuss in the Colosseum today. Grand Uncle G narrowed his eyes, and the murderous intent flickered in his eyes. After Taishaji finished speaking, he kept his eyes fixed on the Colosseum, the worry on his face was beyond words. The feeling at this moment seems to be very in place. Cough. Master, if you don't want to bet, can you lend me all the star cores in your hand? Just borrow it for half an hour, how about I give you a penny of interest then? This is an empty-handed white wolf business. Master. No more, 2 cents interest. It would be a pity to miss such a good opportunity. Master, it's not in line with your nature to not make money with a good star core. Well, you don't have to take any risks, I'll split it with you. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2723. Bai Piao is a qualified gambling dog. As long as you can't bet to death, bet to death. This is what it looks like right now. While talking, Bai Piao rubbed his hands together excitedly, and the treacherous smiles on his face grew more and more. Needless to say the rest for the time being, this feeling followed in place virtually. Very real, very clear, and very pure. That's what I thought and said. Sooner or later you will bet to die. I advise you to calm down. Don't be caught in a pot by then. The star cores that I have finally accumulated will all go into other people's pockets. When the time comes, you won't be shy. Taishaji's face was dark, and then he scolded from the side. Cut. If you don't borrow it, don't borrow it. Why? I'm getting old after all, this courage is getting smaller and smaller. After all, there is a generation gap with us younger generations. If Fang Fan was there, if nothing else, it must be all studs. This master doesn't even trust his own apprentice. It's sad and weeping. Extremely lamented. What a waste. How did it evolve to this point? Bai Piao shook his head, talking, and then roared at the side. The voice was quite loud, and it always had the connotation of being too uncle. Sinister. Money and wealth are things outside the body. How can a teacher care about these things? Bet 5 trillion yuan directly for the teacher. Humph. You win anyway. If you lose, you lose. I'm here to support my apprentice. If you win, give it all to my disciple Fang Fan. Bet me to win. Uncle G set a flag for himself, and then strode forward, throwing 5 trillion low-grade star cores. Even if converted into high-grade star cores, there are a full 50,000 pieces. Generous. Absolutely generous. I was stunned at the moment. Bai Piao let out a sigh of emotion, then shook her head. What a pity. If this star core is fooled, this wave will be regarded as a blood prophet. Now I can only watch them take off secretly. Bai Piao twitched his lips, thinking to himself, his eyes rolled subconsciously. It always feels a little different. I also bet 1 trillion low-grade star cores. Bet the sky to win. Bai Piao immediately followed to join in the fun. Together, Bai Piao and Grand Uncle G threw 6 trillion low-grade star cores. You two are really crazy. You are going to heaven. If Deputy Palace Master Shui Wanren knows your virtues, you have to take your skin off. Trillions of low-grade star cores, you just threw them out so hastily. Hiss. Sima Zhen, the super tutor of the God of War Academy, took a deep breath, and the black lines on his forehead gathered together. At this moment, talking like this, the whole person is completely speechless. This is all crazy. Downright insane. And they're all crazy. I don't even know what I'm doing. Drifting to the extreme, there is no way to talk about it. Mr. Sima, your cautious character is the biggest obstacle on your way to getting rich. If you had bet all studs on Fang Fanboy like us in the beginning, you would have a net worth of trillions of low-grade star cores by now. You're just too wretched. It's a gamble, just be direct. Go up and do it. If you look in the right direction, don't hesitate. As a senior gambling dog, Bai Piao immediately passed on his skills and taught the way. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2724. You can calm down. Don't put yourself in it. I really don't know what to say. You never stop. Call. Don't focus on those star cores. These star cores will not bring death or death, why bother? It makes me look like I'm greedy for money. Tell me about you, why do you have to make such a reputation? This way I feel comfortable in my heart. Will I be able to follow suit? Hey, I don't know what to say about you. While talking, Sima Zhen, a special tutor of the God of War Academy, said with a serious face. Needless to say anything else, this feeling followed invisibly. Righteousness, uprightness, and Yushulinfen have always been synonymous with this mentor Sima Zhen. Bai Piao responded with a few words on the surface, but his heart had already rushed to the gambling table. Press them all. Not a penny is spared. Use all our assets. Fang Fan wins everything. Take it, just treat it as buying a safe. Murong Yu, the first-level tutor of Guangming Academy, opened his mouth, and while speaking, the nervous expression on his face was palpable. If something really happened to Fang Fan, it would be a huge blow to Murong Yu. Thinking of this, the feeling inside is extremely painful. You You, are you as crazy as those two guys? The 2 trillion low-grade star cores that you managed to earn through gambling, just put them all in. No one can decide what's on the gamble. Of course, it is true that Fang Fan has countless abilities, but what if something unexpected happens? When the time comes, how will you deal with yourself then? Haven't you thought about these things? You have to think about it. This is not a small sum. It's not easy to earn. Ding Ling, the middle-aged beautiful woman tutor, was stunned. She looked at Mirongyu in disbelief. How could she be so impulsive at this moment? Master, I think Ding Ling's tutor is right, otherwise we will still be like before. Take your time. Xiao Liulai blinked, and then followed suit. He. It's not necessary anymore. I believe Fang Fan. If he can win, everything will be fine. I can also take the opportunity to make a lot of money. But if he can't win, then he will definitely be in danger. If it really comes to that time, what's the use of these star cores? If he is gone, my heart will die with it. I believe in him. The corners of Mirongyu's mouth raised silently, and the sparkle in his eyes grew more and more. The reason why she has such self-confidence is also because she is connected with Fang Fan at this moment, and she can feel the great confidence in Fang Fan's heart. That being the case, what else does she have to be afraid of? This feeling, directly in place. Ding Ling, the middle-aged beautiful tutor, opened her mouth, wanting to persuade her a little more, but seeing the determined expression on Mirongyu's face, she immediately gave up. Now that the decision has been made, it will be useless to say anything. What can be done now is to hope that Fang Fan can be sure of victory. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2725. I didn't expect you to be so infatuated with this bastard. Why? You and that girl Xiangfei are both like this. What kind of ecstasy soup did this bastard give you? Ding Ling, the middle-aged beautiful woman tutor, gritted her teeth, naturally feeling a little apprehensive in her heart. The wave of betting is still invisibly followed by a full-scale explosion. At least the current momentum looks good. A glance at the past, the excitement is extraordinary. And as expected at the beginning, more than 95% of bettors chose Fang Fan to win. The previous 23 consecutive victories gave them an unparalleled confidence. And the missed opportunities several times before made them almost break their thighs. Fang Fan at this moment is even a kind of faith for them. This belief is in place, why not follow the betting? This also involves a few big bets. For example, the 5 trillion low-grade star cores bet by Tai Shuja. 1 trillion low-grade star cores that Bai Piao bet on. And there is the 2 trillion low-grade star cores that Mirongyu bet on. These add up to 8 trillion. Coupled with the bets of other bettors, the bets in this game even exceeded 50 trillion low-grade star cores at one point. Converted into a top-grade star core, there are 500,000. I have to say, this is a big gamble. Such a big gamble here has already made people feel completely overwhelmed. Inside the Colosseum, in a luxurious room. 50 trillion. He. The betting continues. Many people are still hesitating. Give them some more time, give them some wind in their ears, and play up the atmosphere. The betting in this game will reach 1 billion low-grade star cores. Converted into millions of high-grade star cores. Tisk tisk tisk. When the time comes, just pay those gamblers who bet on Fang Fan to lose, and we can make a net profit of at least 80 trillion yuan. He. Isn't this just reaching out? One opening is the profit of our Colosseum for many years. The middle-aged man in a simple robe shook his iconic left hand without fingers, and the other side was talking, and the flushed look on his face became more and more. Thinking about it this time, the sound of breathing became imperceptibly rapid. Then he licked his lips, and his thoughts boiled all over. Too excited. It's hard to express this excitement in words. Invisibly, a wave is about to take off in an all-round way. The middle-aged steward of the Colosseum, Bao Ming, had a wry smile on his face. The second master really played a little too big. If everything goes well, this is naturally an excellent deal, and it can even take off directly, and the benefits will definitely not be less. But, will everything go well? In case something unexpected happened, what should I do? But how should I deal with myself? These questions should be considered from the outset. After all, it is the taboo heavenly demon who is here this time. Second master, we'd better be careful. I think it's better to prepare the priests in the Colosseum. In case, if something really happens, just let them take action to destroy this little demon. You must not make things too noisy. Second master, this is the only prayer of my subordinates. The middle-aged steward Bao Ming swallowed a mouthful of saliva, and the corners of his mouth twitched more and more as he spoke. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2726. From the perspective of the middle-aged steward Bao Ming, everything should be on the safe side. Whether to earn star cores, whether to cut leaks or not, those are trivial matters. At that time, don't make too much noise because of the incident, and then implicate the entire Colosseum. At that time, it may even shake the entire holy city of light. If that time really comes, no matter how tough the backing behind their Colosseum is, I'm afraid they won't be able to keep them. This kind of Colosseum is originally an underground industry. If a few people die on weekdays, it is not a big problem, and it is still within the controllable range. But if it affects the entire holy city of light and attracts the attention of the first-class Temple of the Light Alliance, it will be really different. Thinking of this, Bao Ming, the middle-aged steward of the Colosseum, became more and more cautious. Noisy. Do you know what's the most annoying thing about yourself? It's your mouth. It's true to be cautious, but being too cautious is a burden. Everything is under my control, so how can there be any accidents? It's ridiculous. At that time, I will have to see who dares to make trouble. My Colosseum is here. If anyone dares to act rashly, I will be the first to spare him. Who can turn the world upside down in my Colosseum? Snort. The middle-aged man in a simple robe licked his lips, thinking to himself. His breathing became imperceptibly rapid. Needless to say, the rest for the time being, this feeling followed in place virtually. With the star core in hand, I own the world. By the time the number 8 Fighting Beast platform stopped accepting bets, the total betting amount had exceeded 1 billion low-grade star cores, worth 1 million high-grade star cores. A big gamble broke out invisibly. While nibbling the delicate tiger legs of the white whale tiger in his hand, Fang Fan couldn't help but glance forward, and the various tactile sensations in his heart became more invisible. So, the layout is starting. The Colosseum is quite ruthless this time. The heart of a leek is also very poisonous. Is this going to uproot the leek roots? Hee hee. It's a bit interesting to exhaust the pond and fish. It seems that the Colosseum wants to be foolproof this time. In this way, my opponent this time is not an ordinary person. Fang Fan's eyeballs changed accordingly, and then he glanced at the man in black robe in front of him. The person in front of him is the opponent Fang Fan is about to face. Very strong, but also reveals a dangerous breath. Fang Fan secretly squinted his eyes, thoughts were boiling in his mind. This looks a little interesting. 5-star Peak Sanctuary Realm Cultivation Base. If it's just an ordinary 5-star peak sanctuary combat power, the Colosseum wouldn't send him out. I just don't know what kind of powerful existence is under this mask. It seems that this time I really have to be careful. At least you can't capsize in the gutter. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes secretly, then chewed the white whale tiger leg bone in his hand into pieces and spat it aside. The competition has officially begun. As the referee's voice came, a chilling atmosphere gradually spread around. You. Juice yourself. You. Too weak. You. Not worthy of my shot. I stab sharply, and only fight against the real strong. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2727. The black-robed man made a hoarse and strange voice, and while speaking, his body trembled involuntarily. This aspect of the language expression is quite pretentious. Oh. Then I will shoot, you don't shoot. Fang Fan shrugged, and said casually, is there anything else good? What are you waiting for? Going up is pounding. The combat power in his body gathered invisibly, and the light in Fang Fan's eyes increased more and more. Needless to say this time, all kinds of crazy ideas are fully blessing. Die. The Zhantian sword in Fang Fan's hand came out of its sheath directly, reaching its peak. At the same time, he directly borrowed the combat power of a 6-star early-stage sacred pet, so Fang Fan at this moment naturally also has the combat power of a 6-star early-stage sacred realm. This time, the combat power is gathering in an invisible way. When Fang Fan's sword reached the black-robed man's eyes, the majestic combat power it unleashed made the clothes on the black-robed man rattle. How so? What you've shown is clearly a 2-star sanctuary combat power. How could this be? The man in black murmured to himself, and subconsciously avoided at this moment, but he was really pretending to be a little bit too big, so he did not dodge in time. At this moment, a bright red mark was directly cut on his waist. Stab. The blood spurted out, and what was extremely strange was that the blood was not red, but black and shiny like ink. Fang Fan won the first move. This black-robed man is a little too pretentious. What I said at the beginning was too pretentious. But when Fang Fan launched an attack, he couldn't help but dodge, and even got injured. If the two contradict each other, you are slapping yourself in the face. But at this moment, Fang Fan didn't show the slightest excitement, only endless solemnity. The move just now already has a 6-star early-stage sanctuary realm combat power. Furthermore, and the move just now was a sudden surprise attack, even the existence of ordinary 6-star middle 6-star high-level sanctuary realms will definitely not be able to avoid it, and it is very likely that I will directly kill it. Now this black-robed man actually only suffered a little skin trauma on his waist. This guy, something is wrong. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes secretly, and the sound of inhaling became imperceptibly rapid, and at this moment he seemed a bit dignified. Although he has always been proud, he has never been arrogant. Is this the gift the Colosseum prepared for me? Interesting. Fang Fan glanced at the black blood on the ground, thinking to himself, then rolled his eyes. This looks more and more interesting. Of course, Fang Fan was extremely serious at this moment, but for the gamblers and viewers around, they thought that this wave of Fang Fan was completely stable. Isn't this just hammering? What else could happen? This move injured the black-robed sharp stab, wouldn't the next step be easier? Tisk tisk tisk, it seems that this big guy who cuts the sky will continue to take off. It's all bullshit whether it's sharp or not. There's a way of pretending to be aggressive. If you really play, you will all return to your original form already. Hee, who said it wasn't? This wave is completely visible, so that's probably what happened. I understand everything. That's it? Hold on and don't panic. It's enough that this wave of feeling is in place. Hee, This time I went bankrupt and voted for this boss. I'm going to send. Double worth. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu. Chapter 2728. The happiness of gambling dogs is actually very simple. Happy when you win, melancholy and cursing when you lose, that's all. Bai Piao, who is a model gambling dog, was twitching excitedly at this moment. A lot of money. Another trillion low-grade star cores are coming. Take off. It really flew. Why? This opportunity is too cool. It has to be like this. Bai Piao rubbed his hands excitedly. While talking, the gesture of swallowing saliva was very pure. While talking at the moment, his eyes turned subconsciously towards the surroundings, and all kinds of thoughts gradually boiled over. This wave, just follow the drift. Don't be too happy. Fang Fan's opponent this time has a problem. This guy is not that simple. Did you see the black blood on the ground? Uncle G frowned. He didn't have the slightest sense of joy at the moment, only the lawsuits and heaviness on his forehead. From this, he felt a strong sense of crisis. If it is not handled properly, the impact will be enormous. Black blood. What happened to the black blood? Maybe his body is too dirty, and the blood is also blackened. Or is the constitution too special? What kind of black blood disease? Or, the body is poisoned, so the color of the blood is black. What's there to be nervous about? Don't panic at all. Bai Piao has always had a big heart. While talking at the moment, he nodded and bowed quickly and said, "Anyway, that's what it means. It's pure and true." Deep in the heart of the exemplary gambling dog Bai Piao, what he sees is naturally the star core he is about to harvest. Looking at the smile on Bai Piao's face, Tai Shuja shook his head angrily. "You don't be overwhelmed with joy. The current situation is not optimistic, very optimistic. You'd better be careful, don't be caught in a pot. I don't feel right, very wrong. There's definitely something tricky about it. When the star core is gone, it will be gone. If something goes wrong with Fang Fan, I will bloodbath this Colosseum." Grand Uncle G clenched his fists, and while talking, his eyes flickered in a different way. Bai Piao, who was standing aside, subconsciously froze for a moment. Something is wrong with the great uncle at this moment, very wrong. Although he would be crazy and excited in the past, at least he is not as impulsive as he is now. The meaning expressed in these words is too serious. Speaking of which, Fang Fan is really in great danger? The model gambling dog Bai Piao also calmed down. The star core treasure is indeed what he loves, but if it takes Fang Fan's life to exchange for it, he will never agree. Fang Fan, nothing can happen. This bastard has not finished what he promised me. How can he say that something happens? Master, I will try to get as close to the number 8 beast arena as possible later. If something happens, you will immediately throw me out in front of Fang Fan. My defensive power can save Fang Fan's life. When you say that, I also feel that something is not right. I always feel that there is something eerie. Bai Piao frowned, his facial expression changed very quickly. His eyes looked at the black blood flowing out of the number 8 fighting platform, and his brows tightened instantly, as if countless thoughts bloomed directly in his mind. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu. Chapter 2729. What should come, will always come. The conspiracy will eventually explode one day. It is absolutely impossible for all the conspiracies to remain hidden so well. On the number 8 arena, The black-robed man stroked the wound on his waist, his face gradually showing a cold expression. It's been a long time since anyone dared to attack me. G. G. How many years have passed, and you are still the first? You piqued my interest. The last person who caught my interest was eaten by me. G. The man in black gradually let out a strange scream, and then drew his weapon from his waist, his eyes flashed with murderous intent. While talking, the whole body was surrounded by black air, as if it was going to blow up this place completely every minute. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes, and then naturally resisted with all his strength. Clang! The Zhantian sword in Fang Fan's hand directly collided with the enemy. Fang Fan originally thought that even if he couldn't retreat in one defeat, he could at least win a match. But at this moment Fang Fan was shocked instantly. At this moment, Fang Fan could only feel the auras surging all over his body, and there was a strong sense of restlessness coming from all over his body. Puff! Fang Fan spat out a mouthful of blood, and felt every muscle in his body tremble. Call! Fang Fan then exhaled a breath of cool air, his narrowed eyes flickered with a different kind of brilliance. This wave exploded directly. So strong! Fang Fan's eyes turned rapidly, and he stood there holding the heavenly sword in his hand, with complex expressions in his eyes. This man in black looks like a 5-star peak sanctuary, but the combat power displayed is even stronger than a 6-star early stage sanctuary. Although it can't be estimated accurately, there are almost 6 levels of combat strength above the high-level sanctuary realm. Scary. Could it be that this guy is also cheating? Fang Fan's eyes flickered for a while, feeling the turmoil of chi and blood coming from his body, his heart sank secretly. This wave almost followed and perished here. Just a little bit of negligence just now, maybe he was killed by one move. It seems that the big gift prepared for me by the Colosseum is really not small. At this moment, it seems that they really want to kill me directly. That's why we sent such a black-robed man with obviously superior combat power. But why do you feel that something is wrong with this guy? It's like there's a visceral sense of rejection. Standing on the same bull arena with him, I feel inexplicably cold. Fang Fan let out a breath, thinking to himself, the light in his eyes grew more and more. Now as I think about it, many thoughts in my mind are increasing. Fang Fan and the black-robed man had the first round of formal confrontation, and were directly defeated, while the black-robed man stood firm as a mountain. At this moment, the hearts of those gamblers and viewers were also touched. Ah! The black-robed man on the number 8 arena suddenly let out a beast-like roar, and then scanned the surroundings fiercely, and his thoughts boiled invisibly. With gratitude for this, everything exploded in full swing. Interesting. I didn't die after being hit by me. You are the most powerful low-level sanctuary realm practitioner I have ever seen. It seems that you are also an unworldly pride. It's so refreshing to kill the pride of your light camp. Roar. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2730. The black-robed man followed Gigi with a strange smile, and the crazy expression on his face became more and more. While talking this time, she seemed even more crazy. Needless to say anything else, this killing intent is very real. This guy is now eyeing Fang Fan, and wants to deal a fatal blow to Fang Fan. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes secretly, with a slight smile on the corner of his mouth. Interesting, indeed interesting. Looking at the 5-star peak sanctuary realm cultivation base, it can burst into combat power equivalent to a 6-star high level or even a 6-star peak sanctuary realm. It is obviously not easy to reach this point. All kinds of things involved in it are basically spread out. Fang Fan also gradually became serious at this moment, and if he was a little careless, he might really be beaten to death. Servant God's share. Fang Fan murmured to himself, and then borrowed the power of 3 6-star early-stage Sanctuary Realm pets on himself. At the same time, by the way, the combat power of several servant heroes was gathered here. At this moment, Fang Fan has been promoted to the middle stage of the 2-star Sanctuary, and all the heroes under his command have also been promoted to the middle stage of the 5th level Sanctuary. Judging from the standard of combat power, it is already an extremely strong existence. Except for 2 of the 6 heroes who already possess the god position, the other 4 are all heroes under Fang Fan's command. Fang Fan let out a mouthful of turbid air, thinking to himself, the corners of his mouth couldn't help but slightly raised, and all kinds of thoughts exploded at this moment. This wave seems to be a bit interesting. This time the idea is gathered here, and it is followed by a full-scale explosion. Interesting. It's really interesting. Share the power of servant gods. This wave followed in full swing. At this moment, Fang Fan at least already has the combat power of the 6-star mid-level Sanctuary. There may still be a certain gap compared with this weird black-robed man in front of him, but the gap is not that big anymore. It seems that this wave really needs to be more cautious. If you are not careful, you may be shot to death directly. Fang Fan let out a foul breath, thinking to himself, then silently nodded and said. For the gamblers and audience, the change in the situation at this moment is a shocking change in the world. Before it was all good, why now, how did it become like this now? In the battle just now, Zhang Tian, the beast fighter they were looking at, seemed to be sluggish. A wave of retreat? This situation is not quite right. If this trend continues, why don't you just cool off? If this is the case, how should the following events be handled? You must know that these gamblers and spectators basically spend all their positions in order to be able to go to the Colosseum. After all, it's hard to come across a parity game, and the win or loss is 1-2. The key is that there is no limit to your betting amount. This is too attractive for them. So there are some impulses in my heart, and that is understandable. This is human nature. The situation is too pure. Why do I feel some bad premonition? I suddenly have a premonition that this frankly seems to be a conspiracy in the Colosseum. Damn it! We thought we were going to gather wool, but we didn't expect to cut our leeks completely. How do I deal with this next? Hold on, you can't hold on. My star core. Woo, I don't want to gamble anymore. Give it back to me, it's too difficult for me.